What about it, YouTube? Okay, we're talking about narcissism, and I'm going to be opening up this discussion into a much wider scope than what I've seen anyone talk about. So I'm going to have something new to offer to this discussion of narcissism, and I'm not trying to repeat what's readily available. There are videos coming out daily, awesome videos coming out daily that I suggest you check out because it is replete in our culture, and we'll be getting into that. But for this video, I want to introduce a term, and I want to try and, just for discussion's sake, not, and that's why I want to discuss it and first and define it in our discussion, because as you go out there and hear this word without me saying it my way, it may cause a twist in your getting what I'm saying, and I don't want that to happen. The term is super empath, okay? So what you're going to find out when you start to research narcissism is that an empath is the greatest finding for supply for the narcissist, because an empath is very trusting and kind of gullible and tries to see the best in people, and an everyday empath has a guilt complex or a low self-esteem to a point, and will give clues throughout the relationship to the narcissist so that the narcissist can use the vulnerabilities and the negative, the things that are going to hurt the worst. The narcissist knows that about the person. And so they'll use their weaknesses against them constantly to control them by gaslighting them and manipulating them in a codependent situation. So that's a normal empath can suffer greatly at the hands of a narcissist. So what we're going to move forward from for this discussion is talking about what's talked about is a super empath. Now, I was happy to run into this because I think I found myself, right, in clinically, speaking terms. What I've heard so far matches up. I started hearing people say that you'll hear different definitions of super empath. That's why I'm making this video, is to get ahead of the game and just say, because I'm talking about myself here, but it's all about being humble. I'm super humble. I give all glory to God. I don't take credit for anything I do. Like even my, if I go out there and work in the yard or on a vehicle or something, and it's successful, or if it's not, but I mean, I don't blame God, but I give Him all the glory for my talents. I give Him all the praise, and I try to. I'm trying to introspect all the time. I'm trying to edify all the time. My whole life has been a goal of searching for truth, being very frank, being very honest, being very upfront, being very opposed to game playing. Game playing is not cool. Not cool. And actually that's what the narcissist does, okay, as a master, and they think they're so much smarter than you, right? Okay? So they think that they think that they have got, with their Machiavellian narcissistic sort of thing, they think that they've got you figured out to where they can always have you where they want you. Close to them, far from them, doing this, doing that, whatever. You're a monkey on their string. Okay? So A super empath now is different. And some of this I'm going to miss on some of the key things, I'm sure, but a super empath, going back to the narcissist right quick, the narcissist pays attention to every detail that's negative about the people around them and hardly listens or cares or wants to care because it's a threat to them in a way. It's just disgusting in a way that you might have a source of pride yourself based upon something other than where they get their pride from, right? Satan, I guess. Okay? So if they see you as the empath, as the person with lots of feelings, trying to be a good person, be nice, and be non-confrontational, and try to get along and try to be helpful, okay? They see that as total weakness. They see all your forgivingness, all of your real Christian altruism. They see all of that as total weakness and just something to be fed upon and taken advantage of. That's supply for them. Okay? So, with the super empath, they're not only listening. The thing with the super empaths is they're great listeners too, but they take into account, they don't discount one or the other. They take in everything from the people around them, because a super empath goes to a high enough step in life to view everyone as an individual having their own individual experience, who should have all benefits of the doubt up until this moment in time for whatever's happened in their past, because everyone has a past, and right now is the most important thing. But you'll listen to painful stories of their past, or they may give you clues of vulnerabilities or weaknesses or whatever, but you're never trying to use that against them in any way in the future. That's not on your mind. You just recognize that as a sensitive spot, and the only thing you think from there about is, I'll be sure to know that that's a sensitive topic. I'll be careful how I discuss that with this person, because I don't want to hurt their feelings. Okay, so a super empath is super intuitive, super into people's moods around them, super wanting to be a peacemaker, be a helper, be a problem solver, brighten everyone's day, along with non-confrontational and all of that. But they take in everything, but they're trying to suck up as much information as possible so that they can be as helpful as possible, not hurtful. That's not on their mind. Although you need to understand that they have this in their mind. They haven't forgotten any of it. Okay? So as time goes on with the narcissist, the super empath will start to see things that aren't right. And you start questioning this or that. And you may even say to yourself, you're dancing in quicksand maybe there, baby. I know way too much about you for you to be going down this road. I hope that's not the road you're going down. And so you already start setting up in your mind that this may not be the person that I thought they were. This may not at all be the person I thought they were. Because you're constantly having to give them the benefit of the doubt. And you're constantly having to hear these comments or things that are meant to take little jabs at your confidence, and meant to make it sort of acceptable that you're sort of just It's like they need you for supply, and you can have status, but it's all about your weaknesses, right? So the super empath is going to be looking at it differently than the narcissist, but they're both keen on each other. And to the super empath, they'll even notice this keenness to a point. They'll notice that they'll notice that the niceties are kind of sort of empty and hollow-ish, and they'll notice that the little mean things are just kind of like really, like it's like you don't know how to take it. You don't know how to take it serious. Like, what am I supposed to say after this? It's like, now what? You've put me in this position of now what? You've just mocked me or humiliated me or whatever it is, and it was just so at the wrong moment and dumb that you're caught off guard, right? So a super empath, in my view, is someone who doesn't want to react suddenly to something and fly off the handle, because that may even be what the narcissist likes, so that they can say, oh my gosh, look at you, you're out of control, you have anger issues, you need to talk to someone. They love to be able to turn the whole thing around. So the super empath knows who they're dealing with at some point. They know they once they start to question the deal, they start to think to themselves that if this person's who I hope they're not, they're very crafty, because they've gotten me this far. They've used me up till this point and confused me up till this point. And so you'll at least for me, this now I'm speaking more about myself at this point. But at this point in my experience, I've dealt with 3 unbelievable, just evil narcissists on a personal level. And I've destroyed them. And that's a struggle too, because when you go to destroy them, you realize that you're kind of like acting on their level. You're hoping not to. That's not what your intention is, but it's all bad. It's all bad. What you're doing when you go to expose them, it's all bad for everybody. For everybody around that trusted this narcissist, it's all bad. It's all bad info. No one's happy. You want to talk about some crap feelings that you're the one who brought to the table? You could have left everybody else living in this phony reality where the narc is pulling their schemes. But the super empath cannot accept that they were burnt, because they have a super high sense of identity, and they have a super high sense of self-worth and knowledge of who they are and what they've done and the intention that they had behind it, the loving goodness that went behind every effort to engage with and assist this narcissist. That's all well known to the super empath. And they do not take it kindly at all that was taken advantage of. No. You're going to pay. And you're going to pay hard. You wanted this to be a game? Okay. Here's where I wait. And I gather all the time. I've waited over a year to slam, and I mean utterly destroy and slam a narcissist, a covert narcissist. One that had been operating for 83 years. And I have no guilt or shame about it. So that must tell you something. That I had to get to a point where I was very, very sure what I was doing to an old lady. But a super empath will not take it. And once you've decided to make it a game, and I left it alone for a year and you came back. And at that point, I manipulated the super narcissist. The super narcissist. I'm sorry. The narcissist, the covert narcissist to be a little more specific. But she also displays elements of grandiose and malignant narcissism. So she's kind of all over. But mostly covert. And using the 83-year-old card a lot. But I think in her earlier years, it was probably a little more grandiose. You know, I think she was using the well-endowed blessings to, kind of shake them and get what she could. That's my guess. Anyway, not to digress, but the covert narcissist screws up and screws up with me because I will wait as long as it takes, and I know everything it is about you that's going to bring you down to the ground, to the frickin' ground. If you thought you hurt me, you haven't even scuffed my frickin' elbow or something. You haven't done nothing. I don't even need a Band-Aid. But you're going to need you're going to need a frickin' helicopter to take you to Chapel Hill, because you're probably going to have some kind of a heart stoppage when you realize what I've done. And again, I give no F's, because the pain that you've caused me is harmonizing with all of the pain that you've caused those in the past. And I don't care. It's not going to continue as long as I'm around. It's not going to continue. The people that you affected me with are still alive. And maybe by me exposing it, maybe it'll explain a little bit why they didn't have a father growing up. Like I say, it's all bad. I don't like to have to do it, but that's the super empath. And I gave you a little bit more personal story than I intended to, but I was trying to use myself as an example here at the end, that a super empath is very, very patient and will wait until they know exactly 100% that they're in the right. Because they would never want to attack somebody and hurt somebody that didn't deserve it. Never, ever, ever. They never went into the relationship with you with the intention to hurt, and that is why now they can't. They're righteously endowed, called to just slam it. I was true blue. And I'll be danged. I just told you the latest a little bit with the old lady. There's a couple other stories I got that are doozies. Maybe those will be brought up someday if somebody asks me in the comments and says, hey, tell us more about the crap you've been through. Maybe I will. But I wanted to explain, because I figured out that they have this clinical term that's being tossed around. Super empath. That's me. By the way, going forward, you'll find out I'll be doing videos about how super empaths are going to inherit the world. Okay? Super empaths, everyone should be striving to be a super empath. If you are not a super empath, something's wrong. You need to work on yourself. A super empath, that personality type is the personality type God is looking for. So we'll be talking about that. God bless.